and pull up the document camera. Oh boy. This is a quiz for Math 3, so don't get too excited. Let's see. So there's the warm-up. There's the document camera. Okay. All right, so let me adjust this. I am back downstairs in the room that I was teaching in before. So everything is out of the space it was in. Okay, so I have to rearrange. All right, so we have, and it's super bright because I have the window open. Hold on. Let me put this back down. Okay, so we have our warm up from 10, 5, 20. Okay, and maybe that's a little too dark. Well, we'll be all right. So it says evaluate from memory. So we want the sine of 225, the cosine of 135, the sine of pi over 6, and the cosine of 11. Oh man, I always do that. When I write 11 pi over 6, I always turn the 11 into a pi before I can make 2 more lines for the pi. So 11 pi over 6. Okay, so we're going to go through these first, and then we'll identify the period, amplitude, midline, maximum, and minimum height on our function. So Ethan, can you tell me what the sine of 225 is?
I got negative square root of 2 over 2.
Perfect. Okay, so when it has a 5 at the end, it's a multiple of the 45-degree angle. And we know that this is in the third quadrant because it's less than 270, but bigger than 180, which means that both the x and y value should be negative. Perfect. Thank you. Worries. Oh, I should probably take attendance. I don't think Worries is here. Ruby.
Number 2.
Yeah, for the cosine of 135.
I got 3 pi over
4. So you should get something like either 1/2 or root 3 over 2. Oh wait, I'm sorry. This is still a multiple of the 45-degree angle. So it should be something with a root 2 over 2. And it's in, so 135 is going to be in this second quadrant right here.
Wait, guys, no. Are we doing the x or y value?
The cosine is x.
Oh, okay. Well, it's negative square root of 2 over 2.
Good. Thank you. All right. Caroline, were you able to join? Here for and Moni, can you help me with a sine of pi over 6?
Yeah. Sine pi over 6 and
6 over there.
1/2.
Yes, very good. And Avanish, can you do 11 pi over 6 for me?
11 pi over 6, I got negative 1/2. Oh no, positive 1/2.
Okay. Very good. All right, what questions do you guys have over those before we move on to our function? Okay, if there are no questions, we will move on to the function. Sam, you can pick. So we have period, amplitude, midline, max, and min.
I'll do period.
All right. So how do we find that?
So you have like the 2 pi over b equals your period equation, and we have the b value, it's 2. So you do 2 pi over 2 is your period, and that's just pi. So the period's pi.
Thank you very much. Heath, can you tell me what the amplitude is here?
Amplitude is 3.
Perfect. Kimberly, can you tell me what the midline is?
So I'm gonna be quite real with you. I don't remember how to find the midline without a calculator.
Okay, so the midline is going to be the value that's added on to the end.
Oh,
So
okay.
form y equals and then
Okay, so it's -4 then?
yeah, so y equals
Okay.
negative is our midline. Thank you. Zalia, you can pick either the min or the max value. And what it means is like, so if we were to look at this graph, there's an x and a y value for each min and max. Give me what the y value is.
The y value would be -1. For the
So
max.
we shifted it down 4 units, so its midline was at -4, and its amplitude was 3. So yes, our max value is y equals -1. Thank you very much. And then Alston, can you give me the minimum value? So this guy down here.
-7.
Yeah, so we're already down 4. We have to go down 3 more, so we're at -7. Perfect. Y equals -7. All right, thank you guys. Are there questions on this before we move on?
No.
Okay, so I had several questions during tutoring, and B had a couple questions through Remind about the M18 homework activity. So I wanted to take some time. So my plan for today was to go through tangent graphs and then do a practice graphing circular functions assignment and kind of like walk you through that one. And we can still do most of that, but I thought it might be helpful to go through 1 or 2 problems on the M18 homework. The M18 homework, I don't think I had it due until the 6th, which is tomorrow. So I am not assigning homework for you guys tonight because M18 is a really big assignment, and if you need to finish it today, finish it today. And if you already have finished it, then I'm going to give you a break tonight because that was a lot of homework. And so, yeah, so you can follow along and then finish it later if you would like. What was I going to say? And then we'll keep doing my planned assignments for today. And then next class is going to be review for what we've done so far. And then we'll test after that. So if we don't finish today, since our review periods are kind of awkward anyways, I will just finish up our notes from today during that class, take any review questions, and then you guys will have Wednesday is kind of like free synchronous period where you can just ask me questions as you go through the review. Okay, so is there any particular number on M18 that anybody would like me to go through?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you go through 5?
Yes. So number 5 is what we'll start with. It says express the graph below in the form y equals a sine of x minus c, where c is between 0 and 90. This is a good one to go over. Okay, so we are given a graph that, let me see if I can draw it, looks kind of like this. not terrible, not the best, but not terrible. And let's see, you had pi over 3 right here, right? And this was 8. And this was k. Okay. Is this correct? And the goal is to find k. I'm assuming that I've done that right. Okay, so it says express the graph below. Okay, we know that it is a sine function. We know that it is shifted to the right, and we know it has a certain amplitude. Okay, and so our goal is to find C. Ruby, did you have any thoughts on how to start it? Or anybody, does anybody have any thoughts on how they started it? Or was everybody totally confused on this? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna write what we know. We know that it is not shifted up or down. Okay, so this means that the y value of the max which they do give us is the amplitude. Okay, what questions do you guys have about that conclusion? Okay, so they give us the y value of the max here. I did not draw it perfectly. Okay, but it does give us the amplitude value. So this means that our A is going to be what, Ruby? Ruby?
Is it 0?
Yeah, no. Amplitude is going to be the y value of the max. So this is our max.
8.
Yeah, 8, thank you. So I can rewrite our function as y equals 8 sine of x minus c. Now our goal is, well, the first step we need to take in order to find k is going to be to actually figure out what this function is. So let's try to find c next. Okay, so we're going to use c to then find k later. So what information, so that means the only other two variables in the equation are x and y. What information do we have on our graph that we could sub in for those x and y values?
There's a 0 at pi over 3.
Yeah, exactly. So we can use 0 and then pi over 3 in our function, and then we could solve for c. Okay. So if I isolate the sine value as much as possible, I would divide both sides by 8. And I would get, and I'm just going to flip the equation around, that the sine of pi over 3 minus c is equal to 0. Okay, questions about going from here to there?
Wait, could you repeat that?
Yeah, so I just divided both sides by 8 to try to isolate the sine value as much as possible. So these cancel, and 1/8 times 0 is 0. So then what I want to do is I want to ask my question, the sine of what will give me 0? Okay, so let's see. Alston, will you give me some angle measurements in radians where the sine of that angle measurement gives me 0?
Zero pi.
Yeah, so we could have
Pi.
0, pi, what else?
0 pi, 2 pi, pi,